will now be session 43 of the Pie Friends in the Frostnyrrd Saga. This session's title is A Key Without a Lock, and just to recap what happened in session 42, the group decided to split the party, as has always been a positive thing for D&D groups everywhere, with their most martial characters sailing town to smith a weapon, while the dregs went out to try and capture a bandit.
I resent the word dregs there.
I resent the word dregs as well. How dare thee?
It's true. So with Kretel and Cluck spending the days smithing a weapon, the only thing of interest to happen to them was a figure from their past arrived, a certain roundabout Jen, who warned Kretel that somebody has been asking around town about Cluck, and the only description she could give was he was a older man with blondish hair. The dregs, Kassar, Duvar, and Ulfar headed to the forest.
What's that? Film?
Cheers, Brooks. Headed to the forest to look for this bandit, and came across a dead oxen with two javelins in its side. Following the tracks, they managed to confront the bandit camps, overpower them, and capture the ringleader, a bandit dragonborn known as Grax, and he has been taken prisoner. The group also found within the camp both Gamin and Alora, two characters from their past, one universally loved, one not so much. Alora, to her credit, explained that she was actually trying to find the group because she had come across something that is exceptionally important to Cluck and possibly the key to unlocking his hidden memories. The group decided to stay in the woods and camp overnight and then set off in the morning. So it was about 2 in the afternoon when we stopped. You just finished hunting, and that's where we'll pick up.
And I actually caught something.
You did actually catch
Crazy.
something. Enough food to feed everybody in the camp.
Yes. So I'm gonna gut it and spit roast it over the fire.
I'm going to suggest to Duvar that we put this dragonborn in one of the cages that Alora and Gavin were in.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay, so we do that as long as there's no particular problem with that, David.
Yeah, I'm gonna assume that if you fail the strength check, you would just get help. So it's, by the process of eliminating a million dice rolls, yes, he can be inside the cage.
Yeah.
You also know that Kassar and Gamin managed to lift the cage to get Gamin out, so it's not inconceivable that Grax, a big, strong dragonborn, might be able to lift the cage himself.
Yes, and the next point, Ulfar is going to plonk himself down in front of said cage to watch said dragonborn.
I mean, he's still
going to
bound
remain-
and gagged and all the rest of it, so it's...
And we also, I think, if we tie him to the side of the cage as well, if we can, so he can't wander around too much in the cage, so we can actually wet the rag that we have to do.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm spit roasting manacles, but I'll give you some advice. So untie the manacles from one hand, slip it around the outside of the cage, and then slip it back onto the other hand.
Very smart, yes.
So he'll be manacled through the cage as well.
It's at this point you realise that you weren't given any keys for the manacles.
Ah.
Okay.
Can I try to lockpick them?
I think...
You certainly can.
Are you gonna...
First time forever.
Is it worth it? Really? Do we
Don't
think?
break the lock, though.
Yeah,
Yeah, I kind of don't think it's worth it for the tiniest bit of extra security. To be fair, I think.
I mean, we can still tie the rope around the manacles, pull it through,
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. You tie the rope around the manacles and around the cage.
I'm gonna cook my pig.
Anybody else doing anything in the bandit group?
Quickly look.
I think I'm just going to keep an eye on the prisoner.
Yeah, probably that. Yeah.
Okay, I will come back to you before nightfall. Cluck and Cretel, after a hard day of working in the blacksmith, is there anything else you intend to do this evening?
Go back to the tavern, I suppose.
Yep.
Get some
Eat,
food.
sleep, and extend the room again.
Yeah. Eat, sleep, repeat.
Okay.
A bit of raving in the middle.
This is where I really need to write down the room costs at the start of when you start renting the room.
2 silver pieces.
I don't recall it being 2 silver pieces.
I think I paid 8 silver for 2 nights, is what I remember, but I may be wrong.
Close enough.
It might be, yeah, 2 silver. Okay, so 4 silver for the rooms for a night.
And how many nights are we likely to be in town? Because I'll just pay it all off now.
I don't recall whether they said how long they would be. So they've been gone. This would be the second day that you haven't seen them.
I'm sure Ulfar would have sent me a message if it was desperate.
Unless
If
he's
he
dead.
hasn't used his spell slot.
You don't know this, but we are good. I could call you if I needed to.
Yeah, so given it was in the forest, Cretel, it's not unreasonable. Like, you know the forest is at least a day away, so you would expect this whole escapade to take at least 3 days.
Yeah, so I'm not worried yet. Alright, how much do I need to pay?
4 silver a night to keep both rooms.
I'll extend it by another 2 nights.
Okay. Perfect. Then our group in the forest, can you make some perception checks, please, for your watch?
Ooh, yeah, yeah, loving it. Is this for our long rest, David?
Yes, it will be for your long rest.
Cool.
Oh, those dice, David.
You don't know. That's why it's got question marks. Okay.
Well, you know, and you can tell us.
I could tell you, but why ruin the surprise? Okay, so you'll pass the evening away with no incident, no further kobolds come to the camp. Now, have you done anything with the bodies of said kobolds, or have you just sort of left them in the undergrowth where you found them? Obviously, you've chopped off the tails because you figure they're worth something.
Yeah, I would figure, given your character's sort of knowledge of being in the forest, you might move them or take them away from camp on a basis of not attracting predators. But you tell me. You're the only one that I think would. Sorry, go on.
I've been cooking my pig. I've been busy.
Yeah. Okay, I can't think of I can't think of a reason for Ulfar would care.
Aside from moving them outside of the circle, I haven't done anything with any of them.
Okay, and the same goes for the body of Maelstrom, the half-dragon warrior.
Yeah, the charred crisp, you mean?
Yeah, and to sort of like, he didn't look anything like Grax. Grax looked like a man with dragonish features. Maelstrom looked like a human man with a dragon head.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
So they did not look the same. So he definitely wasn't a dragonborn, from what you can tell.
No, but some sort of enchant.
Unholy hybrid.
Yeah. Burn it with fire! Burn the mutant!
For fiendish abomination.
Oh dear. Right. Okay. Everybody wake! It's a beautiful morning.
Sorry, do we get a long rest then?
You do get a long rest.
Perfect, thank you.
And I will light a torch.
It's a new day.
It is a new day. Today's weather conditions are a balmy minus 25 degrees Celsius, completely overcast with some snow flurries possible.
It's nice and calm.
Thanks, Ollie.
Yeah. Definitely lighting a torch to carry with me on the way back.
Yes, you are extraordinarily thankful for the fire, Ulfar.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alright, if I get up, who was last on watch actually?
Me, if I rolled last.
Yeah, this is as good a reason as any, I suppose.
Yeah, based on my last order of watch you did for the night before, it would have been you last on watch, presuming you kept that the same.
Okay. In which case, I am going to sort of go check on the prisoner first thing.
Yeah, he's still in the cage, and from what you can tell, he's made no attempt to escape.
Okay. Like, okay, everybody up. Guess we're heading towards Askaby.
Get the Dragonborn on the cart.
He would have recovered some health overnight, wouldn't he?
Yes, most likely.
He did not benefit from a long rest. Being
Yeah.
tied up to a cage, no.
Oh, I feel sorry for him.
He might have got a short rest though, so hit dice if he had them.
I feel sorry for him.
I'll see if Gamin's up and ask him if he's travelling with us to Askaby.
He will. He will.
We were going to help him get his cart out of the forest as well.
Yeah, he was kind of.
Yeah.
He was heading that way anyway, but yeah, he would definitely be thankful for some help moving that cart, not only to the road but to the Askaby, because his animals have been killed.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll help him, and I'll offer him the potion that we took from the camp and tell him that this hopefully should recover some of the loss that he's made on this journey.
He will thank you and say that he may have acted a little harsh towards you the last time you met, but he considers of all the places on this island that Barrowtoft is the sort of the most dearest to him, and he explains that he should have held his temper better, and in the end, you did do the right thing.
Yes, with a little nudging, they know what to do.
It's a new concept. Still learning. Right, should we get a start? It's going to be a long, very tiring day.
Agreed.
Are you up, Allura?
Yeah, she will come out of one of the tents that she has decided to occupy and says, "Yes, I am quite ready to travel. I must get to Clock as quickly as we can get there."
Yes, absolutely. Let's form up and take the cart with us. Once we're ready, we'll get Grax out of his cage, and I will actually go over to Grax and I will make sure of pouring some more water into his mouth rags.
Yeah.
And then rebind him.
Yep.
Casually waterboard him first thing.
We'll just check him over to see if he's okay. To see if he's okay, I'm looking for basically make sure he's in relatively good enough health to travel, and just check his bindings are still strong.
Yeah, so he looks much the same as you remember. Now he's got manacles on, and they don't show any signs of any weakness, and they're also something that you can't necessarily like. It's not like rope where you could just tie it badly. They're like quite formidable.
Yeah.
I'll suggest to Gamut that we load up the cart and put him in the back of it, and while a couple of people are pulling it, we have a couple of people behind the cart as well, just keeping an eye on him.
Gamin seems quite he seems quite annoyed by the prospect of towing this this person, but given that you are helping with his wagon, he doesn't say anything. But you all have spent enough time with him to see that he is he has no love for this this Grax and what he's done to Gamin and probably his prize oxen as well.
Ulfa will place a hand on his shoulder to say, just use your imagination. Think about what will happen to him once we get to Ascopy. That should bring you some joy.
I'll also say to him, he was beaten. He will face the consequences, and there is no need for humiliation. He fought honorably, and he lost. His time will come in Ascovy.
Duva just watches.
Yeah, so from what from what you can sort of gather from what you've heard about Grax and what you were told by the sergeant who gave you the job, that he is definitely going to be facing a lengthy sentence, if not outright death. Because there's just a couple of crimes, so he's theft and damaging of property and murder. Probably robbery as well, actually.
Yeah.
He's got a long old rap sheet.
Yes, it's not the only one at this campsite, eh?
I was gonna say, yeah, it's more, yeah, we only, set a few fires, freed some slaves, nothing that bad.
Shh. Shush up, boy.
Yeah. So after about an hour, the wagon's made ready to leave. All of Gamin's undamaged stock has been loaded onto it, and you can set out, making for the road.
Yeah. We'll start. I guess we'll just sort of take it in turns, pulling it along, and we'll keep.
Yeah.
So we got Gamin with us. So there's 4 decent, strong people among us, and then there's Allura.
Yeah.
So 2 in front, pulling forwards, and 2 behind, keeping an eye on the prisoner.
Yeah. So
Seems like a decent formation.
Can I check just to make sure that there's no one watching us and no one keeping an eye on us, anything like that in the woods?
Sure, make a perception check.
Yeah, decent.
Yeah, so as far as you can tell, there are nobody watching you, either in the immediate area or sort of as far as you can see, really, into the dense woods. Now, you will know that with the wagon, it will not be easy going, and you imagine it would take you at least twice the amount of time to get to the road as it took you to get here on foot.
So yeah, so we're looking in the realms of 9 to 12 hours to get to the road, or
10
10,
at the
okay.
very least.
So presumably we get off at 7-ish.
Yeah, so 8.
That's why we got up early.
So if first of all, assume Kassar's leading. If I could have a navigation check from you, so survival, please, Kassar. Yeah,
Do you get advantage because it's your favourite terrain?
no. He
Oh.
does.
No, not yet.
He does, but he needs to be proficient in survival, and he can add double his proficiency bonus to it. But double of nothing is nothing.
Yeah, it is.
As soon as I get my next level up, fear ye not.
So with a 14, you are able to track through the forest without much difficulty. So you're not following the exact route you took back. But you do track south, and you end up at the road 10 hours later.
Okay. So we still got a few hours before nightfall then, or a couple.
Yeah,
of
so
hours.
it's late afternoon, early evening before you hit the road.
Okay. Shall we push on even through the night just to get
think
back,
so.
or
I think so.
now we've hit the road we can do a bit better time?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, worst case.
Behave himself. Oh, good. We don't need to. Okay, fine.
Yep. So I will come back to you in a second. So I just need to refresh because I've got a campfire playing in the background, and it is not very helpful. Yeah, the campfire has. Okay, so Cluck and Kassar, you will wake the next morning at your normal time, head down for breakfast at the tavern, the Hooded Squirrel, and nothing untoward happens to you. I'm presuming that you spend another day smithing in the blacksmith with Raquel.
That's the plan.
Okay, then if you can roll your skill check, so a strength check, please.
Yeah.
That's what we have been doing.
Still better than last week's.
Yeah. Yes, that's a respectable strength check. Like, yeah, that's less so.
Oh dear.
Come on, Raquel, beef up them numbers.
Oh, Kratel.
Oh, sorry, I was still rolling into myself, but that was a 24.
Yes,
That
so,
does it.
Raquel.
I start giving myself
help.
guidance on this.
What's that? Sorry, Kratel?
Should really start giving myself guidance on this.
Yeah, probably.
I don't know. Like, it's not. This is an activity that would last all day. So I believe you would be taking the Michael from your god if you was asking for aid every minute. Mechanically, you can. I
Yeah,
think in
probably.
game it's probably a bit cheese. But you'll be glad to know that after today's effort, and Raquel's in particular, has pushed you up into the standard.
Which is the minimum of where we want to be.
Yeah.
Hey, don't knock it. Bare minimum, baby.
Yeah, that's what I mean. At least we're now like on track again.
Yeah.
Yep. So you've got one more day's worth of smithing, and then the weapon will be finished.
We've made up for our previous
Yeah,
2 days.
for our increase in our proficiency stuff, is it a D8 because she's helping again?
So she adds for your for your skill increases. Yes.
D8 is it?
Perfect.
Did you do
Perfect roll.
one for? Is that your third one?
That's our third roll, yeah.
Jesus Christ, you're terrible.
Yes, we are. So far, we've rolled 1d6 and 2d8s, and our total is probably less than 6.
4.
Yeah. So tell you're 6 and Cluck you're 4 in smithing.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
And how high do we need to get?
So in my head, that's 4% and 6%. Which, like, it doesn't sound too bad, but if you think 100 days smithing would be enough to make you proficient, it's probably fair.
Yeah, and I mean, on some days you might get really good, like, skill increase.
Yeah, not you two,
You might
but
actually
other
roll more
people
than one.
might.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we'll never get a good skill increase.
Okay. And then after your hard day smithing,
Like more food, beer, and bed.
Yep. In pretty much that order.
Yeah.
okay. So we will.
Okay, thanks for playing.
Yeah. thanks for taking part. Back to the.
Talking of skill increases, should I have done a check for my cooking? Or am I just, because it's meat, it's easy enough?
Yeah, well, if we're just roasting on a spit, there's no real skill other than just checking it's not undercooked. It's like pretty much a child.
You've obviously never had a pulled pork direct from the pig. Brooks, you remember Brownie's wedding?
Jesus.
They didn't do it right. I'm guessing.
No, it's only because I rolled a cooking skill for the stew I made.
Yeah, that was you were pulling stuff out of cupboards and stuff to try and to make an edible source of food. Like, you know,
Fair enough.
the boar was pretty edible, and then you put some fire on it.
Woo! The best kind of edible.
Okay, so you've probably got a couple of hours of daylight left, you reckon?
I think we're gonna travel through the night
Yeah, we're gonna push
to get back to Ascobie.
Yeah, even if we have to stay out overnight, like it seems the smart choice.
Okay, so with the alright, I'll push forward until you get to 7 a.m. and then you can decide what to do. Because at that stage you're on the verge of a forced match, so we will make a decision then. And you'll get to that.
By what time was that?
That is 7 a.m.
Okay.
So, a lovely minus 25.6 degrees Celsius with a light to moderate amount of snow falling.
Fine. Keep him warm by pulling the cart. Am I right, boys?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so at this stage, you're on the verge of a forced match.
What does that mean in game mechanics terms?
It'll mean we get tired, which
Y-
probably means something like
They will be checked.
exhaustion.
to stop exhaustion.
Hmm.
I'll ask Gammon what he would like to do.
Gamin is in no particular hurry, so he's like agreeable to stopping. Alora, who for the most part has probably been riding on the wagon, wants to push on. Grax has no opinion.
I'll turn to the others and I'll say, group vote then. So we got one on one side, one on the other. What do you two think?
I wouldn't be unwelcome for a fire after that tragic dark, but
Oh, apparently you should only be able to travel 8 hours a day, at which point you then start taking force march exhaustion checks.
okay. So do you want?
How many miles a day?
Not miles, 8 hours.
Oh,
Do you want to check for the overnight then?
Yeah, so this is the fun thing. The DC is 10 plus each hour that you spend. So you've travelled for 24. I will apply this from now on.
Okay.
Okay.
Unless you stop now, though, you will be doing. There will be a DC 26 check to avoid exhaustion.
I think we'll take a rest.
Yeah, that means we're knackered. So
If I'm that tired, yeah.
Yeah. I can't pass that.
Not many people can.
I'll say to Gavin that we'll take a rest and say to Allura that you haven't been pulling this thing. You don't know how tired we are.
Okay. So you'll set up a camp, and is there anything in particular you're going to do apart from build a fire, obviously?
So try and move the prisoner to tie him round a tree or something by the main camp.
One of the wagon wheels. So I feel like that would be.
You got to tie him to a wagon wheel.
I was saying that to Kasar, like
Okay.
as an option, as throwing it out there. What do you think?
Can do.
Yeah. Okay.
The Gammon might not like it if there's any damage to his wagon.
Yeah. Well, we'll be watching him.
Yeah, and your fire, like he's very clearly not wearing any winter gear. Like.
Probably still pretty knocked up.
Yeah. Are you planning to like have him close enough to the fire that he will feel the warmth for it? Or are you planning to leave him out?
Well, that's why I was going to tie him to the tree, because I was going to make the camp by like an overhang or something to stop it snowing on us. Tie him to the tree, and then we camp sort of in a semicircle round him. Was my thought process.
I would say definitely have him close enough to the fire to feel it. It will encourage him not to run away.
Okay. And are you doing anything else as part of your camp?
No, I think given the situation, I wouldn't go off on my own and do any herb gathering or anything like that.
Yeah.
Okay, then unless you plan to skip eating, you'll all need to consume a ration.
Okay.
Perfect. Cluck and Kretel.
hello.
A cold and snowy morning in the city. There are trails in the street when you leave after breakfast.
I've got a winter cloak. I am going to be wrapping it around me.
Yeah, I think I've got my is it manticore? I think I can use it as a blanket. Manticore wing. I can use that as a blanket, so I'll wrap that around me.
Okay, you've also got your wolfskin cloak as well, Cluck.
Yeah. I'll wrap that around me as well.
And a mug that you stole from the The bog standard. Just
It had food in it.
yeah, it had food in it, but it's like it's typical. You've just taken a beer glass home with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well.
Final checks for your smithing.
Oh god.
Come on, boys. Big no.
Oh god.
Oh no.
Come on, these are 20 dices. You can do a lot better than that. Come on, there we go. That's better.
Something, Raquel, come on, drag it up, drag it up.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's better.
What's that? 20, 41,
48.
divided by 3 is
16 average.
You're forgetting the checks that they did the last session.
Plus all the prior ones. This one, 16 average. This one's good-ish.
Yep. So, you'll be glad to know that you barely make the check required for a standard weapon, and you will create a steel longsword of normal quality, a value of 287 gold, of which you owe half now to Raquel for her help. Make your d8s for your blacksmithing skill increases.
Hey, that's my
Hey.
better.
Hey.
Yeah, we like these ones.
Now that they've actually made something.
Mark tripled his score.
Yeah.
Now they've seen the finalized item and they kind of go, oh, yeah, now.
Yeah, they were better at finishing. They learned lots about finishing.
So,
the weapon.
yeah, so it would be a steel longsword, so essentially it gains the benefit to reroll a 1 on the damage die. It's a bit like your brutal, is it brutal? Your feet clock. The difference, well, say the difference is, so you can only reroll 1s, you can only do it once per turn, and you can't reroll a reroll. But if you want, I can add it in later. It's up to you. The other thing is, yeah, you know, oh, Raquel for her labour. So as I say, half the value. So you owe her 143 gold and 75 silver. Or, and this is the alternative, is you could sell her the weapon. And yeah, you'd receive an amount of gold, but not that amount.
Obviously, I don't know about the glaive yet, so
Nope.
I will just take
the sword.
Take the sword and hand over the equivalent.
You can always sell it later.
I can always sell it later. What's the equivalent of that in platinum?
Platinums. Each platinum is 10 gold, I think.
So,
14.
Yeah, 14 and change.
okay, I will give her 14 platinum pieces and some change.
Yeah, so if you give her 14 platinum pieces, you still owe her 3 gold and 75 silver.
Okay, I'll give her the 3 gold and 5 silver.
Did it say 75? 3 gold and 8 silver. Sorry, I'm working in a decimal system for a system that's not built for it. Okay.
Done. So I've created a basic entry for it, but
yeah, we'll sort it out after the session. Okay, so I'd say based on your help, you probably finished around midday.
it'd be time to move on to Crotels. One would assume.
Yep.
So a strange thing happens around midday in that there's a solar eclipse of the sun moon. So for about 15 minutes, all the animals start going berserk. It's about the same time you finish the weapon and roll really well on your blacksmithing skill increases. So take from it what sign you wish.
Take it as a good omen.
Yeah. People roll really well for Cratel's weapon. It ends up being insane.
Okay. So
I'll pay for it.
what you're making for Kratel?
Actually, mine was steel. His was cold iron.
Yeah, mine's cold iron.
Okay, so sorry, a cold iron, longsword. So additional damage to certain enemy types, which are detailed in the journal. So are you making a longsword as well, Kratel?
Yeah.
Okay. Then are you asking Raquel to assist?
Yeah.
Okay. Then make another bunch of strength check.
Come on, make it good.
And we're off to a good start.
Yes.
Okay, so after the first day's effort, it looks like a poorly made piece of steel. So this will be the end of day 3, since your companions... In fact, no, this will be day 4 now, since your companions left.
All sorts of as we're wandering back to the inn for the night. I wonder how they're getting on.
Oh, hoping they're getting on alright, but I would have thought Ulfa would have sent one of us a message if things
They
went
were
south.
in, yeah, if they went up shit creek.
Unless he's dead. Unless he's dead.
He could have done it with his last gasp. I assume we need to pay for some more. The rooms again.
I extended it 2 days.
Yep, so you've got tonight covered, and then you are paying...
Okay. That's what I'll say to her. I'll get the next time we have to buy again. I'll get the next couple of days.
Fair enough.
I think we'll just go back to the inn again and drink, eat, sleep, repeat.
Okay. Okay, second group. It is mid-afternoon when you feel strong enough to go on.
Put him back in the back of the wagon and start heading onwards, I guess.
I also just do a check to make sure we don't notice anything out of ordinary, anybody following us or anything like that. Or are you happy that we aren't?
I would like you to make a perception check.
All of us, or Duval specifically?
Duvar, because he's the one who's been suspicious.
Yeah. Cute.
Very suspicious.
So, as you look out, because you can see really well during the day, in either direction, the only thing you can see appears to be like normal travel for this road, from what you've seen. So it's like it's never empty. There's there's probably a wagon within a couple of miles in either direction. There's people traveling back and forth. There's other merchants like Gammon, and there's obviously the occasional like group of soldiers or messengers that run up and down the road as well.
Okay.
I presume when we put him back in the car, we don't notice anything up with his body. Obviously, as a point of reference, we're checking that like he seems thoroughly manacled and whatnot.
Make a perception check. From what you can tell, there's been no attempt to break his bonds.
Cool.
Make sure we wet that rag. of course. Every hour or whatever it is.
Guess we'll
Last
keep on
direction.
heading north.
Yeah.
Ease out those aching muscles.
Mm-hmm.
Got a ways to go yet.
If I don't get a strength increase just for pushing this bloody cart.
So 8 hours travel will get you to there.
How many hours travel would it be to the gates? Can we see the city?
Yeah, the city's starting to loom on the horizon. You reckon it's within 5 miles based on like your travel up and down this road.
And it takes us about twice as long to travel the distance with the car. Right?
The cart is making you move slower, yes.
Yeah. So.
I would say we push on. It's probably a couple of hours at most.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Agreed.
Okay, so for the first hour then, let's have a Constitution saving throw.
Constitution saving throw.
Ooh.
Just click on Constitution for that.
Ooh.
It's Constitution save, so where you see Constitution, bottom right, you should have a plus something or a minus something.
Right, so there we go, yeah.
Gonna be exhausted.
Yeah, so Ulfa will pick up 1 level of exhaustion.
Yeah.
And you continue pushing.
Mhm.
Yep.
Okay, another save if you will.
Ooh,
Is that all of us?
do was done.
Yes.
Okay.
You're at disadvantage now,
Really
Ulfa.
pushing the car.
I think you're at disadvantage for saving throws. Is it just ability checks or is it saving throws as well for exhaustion?
I can't remember. How do I check? Let's have a look.
It's only ability checks.
Yeah, no. Okay, that's fine.
Saving throws is level 3. I just had a quick look.
So you're also exhausted. Duvar. And Gamin doesn't care.
Gamin's a beast.
Yes, Gamin.
Strength for the dwarfs! Before I could afford an oxen, I had to pull this cart myself up and down these roads.
But actually, Gamin only made 1 con save.
He made 2. The first one was hidden.
Oh, okay.
He rolled a
I'll say
16.
Sneaky Gamin.
Okay. So after midnight, you will arrive at the walls of the city.
Is there someone on the door? As it were.
As you're approaching, the gates are shut.
Before we go in, I need to give you guys some. I need to give this weapon to you so it doesn't get taken.
Okay. That's the glaive, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Give you the glaive and. I was going to say I'll give you the dagger, but oh, fuck it, I'll let them take it.
Okay. I presume it's got some sort. Is it like a closed wooden door, or is it like a portcullis?
Okay, so to remind myself because I've forgotten. So, set in the south wall, an imposing set of double gates flanked by towers. The gates are painted brilliant white and the structure lends its name to the district. Recently, 2 large red dragon heads have been mounted to the entrance of the towers. It's rumoured these heads will spew fire if the city is attacked.
Does the door have like one of those little peepee holes for a guard to look through?
No.
Obviously.
No, so these are like, think of the gates of Minas Tirith. So, wooden, white, wrought with iron.
I will look up towards the towers and shout hail.
No, shout. No, it's
And
rain.
see if anyone sort of leans over the towers.
Okay. After a minute or so, there is a response, and it is along the lines of who goes there. And I would point out that given the weather conditions, Ulfar still has his torch, so you are illuminated because it's -26 today.
Yeah.
I'll reply that we come to seek the bounty of Grax of the Golden Horde, and we wish to speak to Sergeant Hillness.
The guard will answer that the gates will open at sunrise, not before. He suggests you find accommodation outside the walls.
Well, that's not very nice, is it?
Yeah, that's how ditties work. I suggest we make camp right here on the doorstep. I think staying in one of the outer village buildings just gives us an opportunity for people to meddle in our business.
It's true, others might try to steal the bounty while they're on the doorstep of the city. We should try to avoid others as much as possible until we can hand this in.
Absolutely. Pull off to one side, out the way, under a tree somewhere.
Yeah, sure.
You say out of the way, but that's like within 80 feet of the walls. And you do have a torch as well, Ulfar. So
No, out of the way of the basically not sitting on the Imperial Way and not in any of the local buildings, if that was even an option.
Yeah, so there is a tavern that you passed on the way in.
Yeah, but someone would have to go out of their way to walk towards us. It would be very obvious somebody coming in our direction.
Okay.
Yeah. Duval looks at the tavern, sheds a tear, and joins them.
Yeah, so the tavern is called the Depressed Drum.
Depressed.
Yeah, there is a quite a humorous image on the hanging sign, which is essentially it's like a soldier's drum with a frowning face painted on one side.
Oh.
Yeah, and we probably do our whole spiel again of tying everybody up, making a fire, etc.
Okay.
Anything else anyone wants to do, is there?
Nope.
No, I think I'm fine where I am.
Okay, so I will jump forward to the morning.
Will we gain the benefit of a long rest for those with exhaustion?
It would not be so. First light when the gate opens would not be long enough for a long rest.
Okay.
Right, that's fine.
But it's up to you. You can choose to hang around here longer if you wish.
No,
I feel fine, so I'll leave it up to the others.
Yeah, we'll go.
I would say let's get rid of this dragonborn.
Okay. So 7:30, when the gates swing open and like slowly swing open because they are fucking massive. You can already see that there has, while you've been sort of camping off the road, a number of wagons has built up waiting for the gates to open, and you must now join a queue.
That's fine. Into the queue we go.
Yeah, we'll join the queue.
Okay, Cluck and Cretel, another morning passes in the tavern, and after a breakfast, do you choose to extend the rooms?
Yes, for another couple of days.
So that'll be another 8 silver.
Yep, hand that over.
I'm presuming you head straight to the blacksmith to begin your work.
We do.
Yep.
Okay. Your checks, please, then.
Come on, high numbers.
Nope.
Nope. Come on. Do better.
Well, no, even she didn't do very well today.
Oh no!
Middle of the road.
Yeah, my sword is going to be
Melted down and redone.
It's the shovel.
It is. It's going to be the rusty shovel.
Yep. So at the moment, after at the end of today, you'll be aware that your weapon is of poor quality so far.
Shoddy quality.
But I learnt a lot.
You did.
And really how not to make a sword.
So just a progress check. Cretel, you're up to 21. Cluck, you're on 16.
Oh yeah.
That's not too bad.
Yeah.
I mean, this is just 2 swords. It's not everything to do with blacksmithing, is it? So that's not too bad at all.
Okay. So about an hour after you've joined the queue, you will be able to get through to see. It's your turn to be waved through, and I'm assuming you're travelling through as a group.
Yes.
Okay. So you are called forward by the guard, and you wheel your wagon forward. And at this point, the guard will look at you quite quizzically because you're pulling a wagon, and it's quite. Even peasants generally have animals to do this for them.
Well, essentially, I'll walk up to the guard and say, "This wagon was attacked by the bounty Grax. We need to see Sergeant Hillness at the barracks to hand in the suspect, and I'll actually point him out in the back of the wagon."
Yep. So the guard will look at Grax in the back of the wagon. He will sort of ask you to wait a moment and then step to one side into like a little hut between the gates. And you will see him return holding a scroll, and he will unravel it, and it is a likeness of Grax on it, and he will sort of stand there comparing the two. And after he's convinced himself that this is Grax, he will essentially tell you that you will be escorted to the barracks. And a half a dozen of soldiers that are in the area will take positions around the wagon and escort you all to the Whitegate barracks.
I like the fact that 3 of us went out for this guy, and the town thinks it needs 6 more guys just to cart a bound guy round the corner.
Well, this could be a very clever plot.
That's true. That's true.
So yeah, they're taking no chances. Having heard of what this person can do, according to his bounty, yeah, you're escorted in, and the guard who saw you at the gate will go into the barracks. They will summon the sergeant, who will be brought out to meet you. And once he lays eyes on Grax, he will give the orders to take him into custody.
Our bounty sergeant.
I will warn them about his breath. Say he's got really bad breath. And the fact that he can just remind them that he can breathe fire.
Yeah, so to you, Ulfar says, yes, let's deal with this one first. And from what you can see, Grax is taken almost immediately to the castle dungeon, which is sort of set outside it and underneath it. So they just like haul open a grate, and without taking his manacles off, they just throw him in. And you hear like enough time between him being tossed in there and a impact to know that it sounded quite deep. But there is
Yeah.
like a sort of a splash of water at the end, which makes you think he's not dead.
Lovely.
At least it wasn't dragged straight to the gallows.
Look at the
On-
Now,
sergeant. They,
there's due process here, Dulvar. This is an empire town, not some heathen backwater.
Right, okay.
He'll be executed in the morning once his execution ward has been written.
I say it's a pleasure to have helped. It looks like he attacked a wagon shortly before we got there.
Says yes, he's been a bane to traders for the last few months. What of his and he'll sort of like spit the word and say men.
All dead.
Do you have any proof?
All the-
Yeah.
I'll pull out the kobold tails.
He will nod to this and offer, in addition to the bounty, 2 gold for each kobold you've killed, and he will suggest that were they not working with Grax, they would be worth a lot less.
So how many tails was that, Mike?
I accept. That was. How many tails did we get? There was.
5.
I didn't write it down. There was 5, so another 10 gold.
Yeah, so a short while later, a chest is brought forth, and like it's opened, and you can see it contains quite a few thousand gold. And the sergeant will take a great deal of time to count out the 510 gold before putting it in a pouch once you're happy with it, and then sort of pass it across to you, Kusar.
I'll take the gold in one hand and then evenly distribute it, so it's 170 gold each.
Cool. Thank you.
And I'll sort of turn to the captain and say, just happy to help.
I will say, while I'm here, I do have these orc tusks that I've collected out and about. Are they worth anything?
He will say that we've had no trouble with orcs and certainly don't have any bounties on them.
No worries. I'll find a use for them, I'm sure.
He will suggest though that if you're any good at killing orcs, that you might look to sign on as mercenaries for the Empire. They are there is a offensive underway against the shattered tribes at the moment.
Ooh.
Don't
No,
you
th-
even
no.
think about it.
No, thank you. We have other plans, but this is provided us some of the coin we needed to make passage. So, thank you again, Sergeant. But I think we'll be on our way.
He will nod and say, Aphris goes with you.
And with you.
And I'll step out.
Okay, so Gamin will sort of like ask for aid in pushing his wagon to one of the stable houses, the opposite side of Moonrise Street.
Oh, pushing. Jeez. Alright.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Yeah, of course. Anything for Gammon.
Apologies, not Moonrise Street. I'm just checking my notes. It's actually in Southwall, so he will explain that cross back across the square and then hang a right. And after a few minutes, you'll get the wagon there.
Okay.
It's sort of here.
Okay.
That's close.
So here.
Yep. So he will thank you for your effort and say that well, he'll first of all ask where you're planning to stay.
Oh, we're staying at that Squirrel Inn.
He says, I know the one you mean.
if our companions have managed to keep the room. But that's where we've been sheltered so far.
Yes, Alora will say that she will. She wants to sort of refresh herself, but you must find Cluck at once and have him come meet us there.
She wants to
Cool.
refresh herself. Woman who was in the wagon the entire time.
Well, she's a wo- she's a
She was fluffing herself.
woman that likes to refresh herself.
She's a bitch. That's out of character.
I will say to Alora that I will take her to Cluck.
She says, "No, bring him to me. I'll be waiting for him."
I thought this was important, you lady.
It is important.
She will say it's of the utmost importance, but this isn't something we can
Oh.
discuss in the open.
I'll go. I'll happily go and get him.
All right, I will
take her back to the inn
I'll take Alora
do
back to the
whatever.
room. Yes.
Yeah, so, Alora and Gamin will accompany you to the tavern, the inn, and Gamin will sort of offer to, quote-unquote, lady sit her until you return.
I'm assuming I get over without any interruption.
So I've assumed you've all walked across to the tavern first of all with them.
I left them to go to. I went straight to do. Sorry, I went straight to those guys. Unless you want me to go back, I'm quite happy to go back.
So it's kind of on the way. So yeah, as you make it, Gamin will say to you that he will look after Alora until you return.
Okay.
I'll ask the innkeep if they know whereabouts. Have you seen a man and a nurse-looking woman?
Yeah,
Do you know where they might be?
We know what they're doing, don't we?
We know what they were doing when we left,
Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah. So,
but you don't know what they're doing today.
well, I would go and assume that I'd go
Yeah,
assume and check that, knowing it takes several days to do what
What
they
does
need
the
to do.
innkeeper say to Kasar?
So the innkeeper will say, yes, they've been staying here for several nights. They seem to leave each morning and come back each evening covered in smoke and soot.
Ah, so they've extended the rooms. There still are upstairs. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, brilliant. We have an additional couple of people staying just for a night, so I'll be showing them up to the room, and I'll show Gammon and Allura the rooms, so that they can get into one, get comfortable.
Wow.
You would leave them.
Yeah.
alone.
So Allura will go up to the room to freshen up, but Gammon will first stop by the bar and get himself a well-earned pint.
Do you guys want to wait with them, or do you want one of those to wait with them while I go and fetch?
Gammon will say to you that it's more than okay. I'm sure I've got it from here.
No worries.
I think Gammon is okay to look after Allura, and I'll wink at Duvar.
Right. Okay.
There's only so apart from the bar keeper, there's only one other person in the tavern, and they seem to be just enjoying a spot of
Gammon-
lunch.
If Gammon has enough energy after pushing the freaking cart for all night to bow chicka wow wow.
He's a dwarf. Of course, he's got the energy.
Yeah.
I'm amazed.
Well, he's a
I'm
man,
impressed.
surely. If you don't have the energy, you find the energy. This is
Yeah, okay, it's true. Yeah.
Right. Yes. Okay. So we head off to the Hammerworks to look for the others.
yeah. We'll head over to the Hammerworks.
Duva probably nearly didn't get that. He'd be like, yeah, okay, I'll say it.
Do not question his dwarven fortitude.
Right, we look down and look for the.
For Raquel's shot.
Yep. So you will find the
Yeah,
hammer and
right.
tongs.
Yep.
What was that? Sorry, Ulfa?
Does she have a sign this time?
She does have a sign.
Yeah, somebody put it up for her.
That is.
A rather tall-looking female.
A strong, tall-looking female putting a sign up. Yeah.
6'6" nurse.
Yeah. So after after a quick travel across town, you'll find both both Cretel and Cluck inside the hammer and tongs, working on the sword that looks like a spade.
I go look down. Going well, guys. Looks like you've made some progress, at least. Trying to remain
Undoubtedly.
positive.
A lump of steel that looks like a lump of steel.
I was gonna say, it's like the way I have it in my head is they've hammered one end of it and nothing else. Beaten the shit out of one end of the piece of iron.
Yeah.
Well, we finished one, and I'll just sort of proceed to show him
Cold
the cold iron longsword and say, well, didn't turn out too bad for a first go.
Did Raquel help with that one by any chance?
Yeah, she helped out.
It all makes sense again.
Yeah, so as you arrive, Kassar, you will be approached by Raquel and says, "You've taken your time coming for your tools."
Oh yeah, Jesus.
Yes, my apologies. I was waylaid for a few days hunting down a particularly nasty raider attacking some traders south of town.
Well, now you're here, and she will unfurl a set of tools in front of you. So it's like got a little skinning knife and a few other bits and pieces. So like a couple of big needles, like some animal sinew that can use as thread.
I just inspect the quality of it and see what it is like.
Sure, make it investigation check.
You have no clue.
Oh. Do you want a second opinion there, Kassar?
He has no reason to suspect he needs a second opinion.
I'll go with whatever David says.
Yeah, so in this set, which is sort of bound in a piece of leather itself, there is a knife, including a little sheath, a little leather sheath for it to slide into, a mallet, an edge, a hole punch thread, and a few leather scraps for you to practice on.
Oh, nice.
And it looks
how much?
It looks well made to you. And she will say it's minus deposit. It's 4 gold.
I'll hand over 40 silver. Yeah, I'll hand over 40 silver.
She will thank you for the silver and roll up these tools and hand them to you.
Okay.
Were the weapons taken at the gate as you?
No.
Or were they left? Okay.
So I've just added leather workers tools to my thing, yeah?
Yes. So while you've been gone, she essentially remade the tools. So she saw how she did at the first job, and her conscience as a good blacksmith wouldn't let her sell you those. So she's had plenty of time to remake a second set.
Good thing I was away for 4 days.
Yes. Now, based on her check, she would have made leatherworker tools a +2, but because they're only common materials, they are capped at 0.
Yeah. No, that's fine.
Could I give her or see if she wants to purchase the longsword and the chainmail that I have, and a tattered plate armor that I have?
So your bag of scraps.
My bag of scraps, yeah.
She'll offer you 10 gold for the lot.
The only one I don't want to sell is the chainmail for Grax, I think, from Grax. That was just normal chainmail, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think with a couple of dinks in it.
Yeah, so it would need to be repaired to be able to. It would need to be repaired to remove the negative modifier that would be applied to it.
Does Cluck have his armor back now?
No, I dumped it, didn't I?
Yeah. Did you? And I'll wave this particular piece of chainmail at Cluck and see if he wants it at all.
What is it though? Is it medium?
It's heavy.
I mean, I'd have to keep taking it off if I wanted to.
Yes, and because it's not cast off, it would be 10 minutes to take it off.
Take it off, yeah.
Okay. And is that the same with the other chainmail that I've got? Well, presumably that's even more ruined.
Yes.
So I was looking to try and find was it the
Leather armor, what you trying
yeah, yeah, whatever it was. I can't remember what.
Decent studded.
Yeah, so
You want something like this? And I'll pat my leather armor down.
yes, something like that.
David, for point of reference, what is the sort of the glaive? What is its steel? Like what does that we got off of Grax?
It is a +1 glaive of steel.
+1, which is a two-handed weapon, right?
Yeah.
I have superior steel glaive +1 is what I've written down.
Yeah. So for leather working tools, sorry, for studded leather cloak, it would be where are we looking?
It's 12 plus dex, but it's light, and
Yeah.
I know it's.
So to find one or to have one made, you're looking around sort of based on this 46 golds worth of effort, and 7 days. But now Kazar has a leather worker's tool. He might be able to convince to make it for you.
And we can hunt down the bits for it.
Yeah.
Well, you've got some materials, haven't you?
I've got some leather scraps. I probably don't have the studs or whatever, but maybe we can use part of the chainmail.
Yeah, we can do. I mean, I'll keep the Grax chainmail. I'll get rid of the other stuff. So the longsword and the 2 chainmail I've got, and that's plate armor. Sell that for 10 gold. Did you say?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll get rid of that.
Now,
So if
did you skin that boar?
Sorry.
I was saying to Kazar, did he skin the boar?
No, I cooked it.
I just sort of think if you want to have a go at making studded leather armor.
Give it a try using these new tools I've been given.
Yeah, so you'd either need to buy some leather or find some leather. The only thing that I think that you have, Cluck, that might be of use is your manticore wing, which could be made into a cloak. You have a wolf coat as well, don't you?
Yep.
Let's have a look at that. Was it a hide or was it an actual... No, it's been made into a cloak, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we made wolf pelt. I made mine into a wolf pelt blanket, and I think we had cloaks as well.
Oh, no, if it's a blanket, then it can be made into a cloak as well.
Okay.
So
Will the manticore wing be suffice?
It would be for a cloak. You won't be able to make it into armor.
Okay.
So armor generally comes from a different part of the like wings tend to make cloaks. Hides tend to make not hides, sorry. Something else tends to make armor, which I can't remember off the top of my head. But you don't have it.
I essentially said that I don't mind giving it a go, but it's pretty new to me, so I can't guarantee that it will be amazing, but I'll give it a shot for him. It'd be good practice.
Yeah, I don't mind agreeing to let you have a crack. I say, will Raquel sell leather?
Raquel does not sell leather. She's a smith.
And she said you had to go over to.
There will be a stall near where we got the metal bars, I imagine.
Yeah, she said you had to go somewhere else to get the leather worker.
Now this is why I didn't want any of you to wait in the tavern for everyone to come back, because it would have been a very long wait.
Having over the fact that we've just like reunited and what have you, like all four of us suddenly say, "Oh crap, Alora."
And I'll just sort of prick up and go, Allura?
Yeah, the bounty that we went after, they had captured Alora, and she's got.
And Gammon.
And Gammon, yes.
No, I'll express deep concern for Gammon, but not really batter an eyelid about Allura.
Both are fine. They're in the inn. Alora's got some magic doohick that might be good for you. I can't remember. I don't pay attention to what she says. Kazar, what did she say?
She has an amulet that may be from your homeland, and she wants to speak to you about something pretty urgently. We left her back at the tavern because, to be honest, you know, it's easier leaving her somewhere. We thought we'd come and get you.
So, well, what sort of time is it, David?
Morning. So you've kind of done your blacksmithing check for today, but if you was to say stop and not come back, you'd keep the check but lose the progress. So it'd take an extra day.
Okay, I'll sort of say, well, me and Patrol got a day's worth of smithing to do here. So, I'll catch up with you guys later on this evening. We'd rather not use Raquel's forge any longer than what we have to.
Is it? Okay. I mean, we do. We have an option of you going and somebody else taking over for you.
That work, David?
Yeah, if somebody else wants to take over, that's fine.
I'll,
Like, it depends how long you're planning on being gone as well, Cluck. You could take, say, I don't know, an hour and come back, and that's fine. It's just like if you don't come back, you lose the progress towards time, but not the shit roll.
Okay, I'll just say I'll go back for an hour, quickly get back, see what she wants, and then I'll head back.
Duvar, have you mentioned the glaive at all to our friend? Yeah.
No, gave it to me before we came in.
I gave it to him, but I wanted to. I was going to ask, whatchamacallit, Raquel or whatever name, to give it a once over before I mentioned it to him.
Okay.
So
I am trying to be quiet about that. It's like a nudge in the ribs.
I know it is, and it's on my mind, and but it's something that I want to bring up at some point.
Okay.
Fair enough. Alright, well, I'm kind of intrigued about this amulet, so if you don't mind, I'll take Cluck back to Allura.
That's fine.
Go on then, buddy.
I'll say to Chriselle I'll be back in an hour.
All right.
Okay.
And at that, I will cack-handedly start hitting the bit of metal again.
Yeah.
Alpha, if you're going back as well, leave me. If you can leave me the sword.
Glaive sort of spear thing, but
Glaive. Yeah, glaive. Sorry.
Yep. So we can stay with you for now, Duvar. So if you ask Raquel about the glaive, she will say that it's obviously made out of steel, and it's got some superior qualities around it, so it's well made, and she would appraise it around 600 gold in value. But she'll say that like weapons like this, their real values sort of like to the right person, it's worth more.
Yeah.
Most like decent weapons don't have good second-hand value to intermediaries. You're better off selling it to somebody who would use it.
I get you.
In terms of adding it to your inventory in D&D Beyond, you can just click a glaive +1 through D&D Beyond.
Yeah. And I can give you the one in game at some point when I get to your character sheet.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I want. Yeah. I want to transfer it to. If somebody takes it, I want to transfer it to someone else. So, is it worth me putting it in mine inventory for the time being, or is it better just to keep it?
Give it back to me. I'll add it to mine and just keep it.
Well, I'm going to put it in yours at the moment because that's where it.
Okay. That's fine.
Okay. Cluck, Kassar, and Ulf return to the Hooded Square.
I'll head up to the room with
Yeah.
or to our room.
So as you enter the scroll, or before you enter the scroll, I would like, so before you've even entered from outside, I'd like you to make a perception check.
Yes, Kassar.
Yeah, so Kassar, as you're sort of approaching, you can hear raised voices, and one of them you will recognise as Gamin's, the other you do not recognise.
From inside the room.
From inside the tavern, so you can hear them from the street.
Okay. Well, seems like Gamin's got himself into a bit of a fight. Let's go see what he's up to.
Yes.
Stretch all those tired muscles out, boys.
Yeah. Oh,
Go on, I'm
Actually,
feeling
you roll
lively.
Perception with disadvantage. I just realised. 'Cause I'm stupid. But,
Yeah,
they don't
time
have-
doesn't make any change.
Yeah.
Okay, so as you enter the tavern, you will see 3 hooded figures in the room, in the downstairs of the tavern, and you'll see Gamin and Alora. Now, Gamin is stood between these figures and Alora, and there is raised words. And as you enter, Gamin will look quite relieved, and these figures will come to sort of look at you. And I'd like another perception check at this point.
How do I roll with disadvantage again?
Control.
I think.
Again, Kassar pulling it out.
My kind of shifty boys.
Yeah.
Okay, so as these people come to turn and look at you, Kassar, you're the only one to notice that Alora slips something into Gamin's pocket and runs out the back door. At which point you will hear the figures in the room yell after her.
Okay, in which case I will say grab them.
Okay, at this point then, it's initiative.
What the fuck is that smile?
But the Joker.
So tag yourself into combat again. Don't ask me how to do it. You've done it 3 times now.
I've done it.
Yeah, Ulfar was about to ask.
Yeah.
won't be able to tag myself into combat again.
So right click your token.
Right click,
I'm
and
not
then
in this,
toggle
so you don't
combat
have to-
state,
I'm not in this, so you don't have to worry.
and then go to the combat tracker and roll your initiative.
Okay.
Click the dice.
So the little fist thing.
Just so you know, the screen is completely dark to me.
Yes, it will be because you're not here.
Okay.
Okay. Ulfa, you are the first to.
Okay.
So all you've seen in front of you is sort of like Aurora. So obviously you've come in, Gamin and this person are sort of almost shouting at each other. The barmaid's not doing anything in particular. In fact, she's kind of like half hid behind the bar. The person in the corner who was eating breakfast is kind of trying to sneak or sink back into the corner. There's two people in front of Gamin. There's one person to the sort of right of the door as you've entered,
Yeah.
who appears to have been watching the door. As you've seen Alora run out the back door of the tavern, in the distraction you've given her, they've yelled after her. And then that's at the point that we're picking up.
Okay. I am gonna cast Hold Person at 3rd level on the two closest to Gamin. So I need a Wisdom saving throw, DC 14. If I find it. Right, there we go. There you go.
Get rid of the fog, I don't need. So, wisdom saving throw. They both pass.
Then, just think of my bonus action. That's all I can do, so that's the end of my turn.
Okay, Kasar, you see Ulfar reach out with his magic to no avail.
Yep. So I'm going to shove the person in front of me into the person next to him.
Okay.
I'm going to attempt to. So that's is that athletics or athletics? Is athletics combated by athletics or acrobatics, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Crit it.
Yes.
Okay. So you will shove him, and because he can't, for periods of like difficulty, I'm just going to have him move straight through.
Okay.
We'll have him
during...
make a dex. Yeah. So his colleague gets out of the way.
Okay. I'm gonna shout to Gammon and say, hold them here, and I'll go gather Alora, and I'm gonna run past them toward the back exit.
Mm-hmm. She's there. Okay, so as you open the door and move out, you will see Alora face down on the pavement, and you will see two other figures picking through her pocket. Now, one of them will say that it's not here. She must have left it inside.
I'll turn towards them and say, "You're not getting back inside."
Okay. Anything else for you?
Just trying to think what I have as a bonus action. I guess I'll cast Hunter's Mark on the one straight above me.
Okay.
And that will end my turn.
Okay. Okay, the one you've shot will get to his feet. And he will draw his dagger. No, sorry, he will draw his short sword. And he will let's see. He will come at you with it all far. So sort of scramble across the table and attempt to slice at you.
Okay.
Uh,
I didn't push you. He's outside, bitch.
so
That does not hit.
a 6 and a 14.
Neither of those come close.
Okay. Cut.
I will, seeing the one that scrambled across the table, I will attack that one.
Mhm.
And I will give myself rage.
Okay.
And and I get advantage, don't I?
Why would you get advantage?
Do I get advantage?
Not with rage, not unless something else is giving you advantage.
Oh no, okay. So I'll take the first one then. An 18 to hit, 10 damage.
18 will hit.
And I will attack the same one again.
Sorry, just 2 seconds because it's not displaying their AC in a easy to see way, which is irritating. I'll sort it out later. Yep, he takes that.
And I'll go and hit him again.
Did you add your +2 for your rage to it?
No.
Okay.
So that would have been 12.
Yep, okay.
And then the second one was 14 to hit.
14 does hit.
And then it'll be 7, so 9 for the +2 from rage.
Okay, that will leave him with a grievous wound.
And that will be the end of my turn.
Okay. Let's see. The one in the alley will step over Laura's still body and attack you, Kasa, with his
Alright.
with his short sword. Rolling a 11 and
Swing
a
and a miss.
13.
A swing and a miss. They waited till my next turn. It's only going to get worse for them.
Okay. Inside, the one with a Falchion.
Big, heavy fucking sword.
He is going to turn his sword on you, Cluck. So he'll turn back from Gammon, having heard his comrade scream out, and he will attack you with his sword. Essentially, yeah, big, like a scimitar, but more controlled.
Okay.
He rolls an 18 to hit
Oof.
and a 11.
First one does, second one doesn't.
Okay, but because you're raging, you're going to take half damage.
Yep, so I'll take 2, 3, or 5.
2.
It's 2. It's always rounded down.
which is good when it's coming against you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I think that puts you on 53.
Yep.
Perfect. And finally, the last one in there is going to also attack you, Ulfar,
Okay.
with a 22
That will hit.
and a 12.
The 12 will not, so that's 6 points of damage, yeah?
It's been applied. If you can keep your D&D Beyonds up to date, I can apply it automatically in-game, so that's no problem.
Yeah.
Okay, Gamin, seeing his opportunity, will stab this guy in the back with Kassar's dagger. With only the second attack getting.
I thought he'd given those back to me.
You never asked for them back, so he's still got his dagger and
Like to say,
shield.
you've never actually heard you ask for them back yet.
No, but David said he gave everything back that I gave him at the end of the fight. Is what I'm saying. That's why I didn't ask, because David said he'll hand you back your equipment. Doesn't matter for the sake of this.
He forgot
Yeah.
to hand you back a dagger.
Yeah, he's not handing you back his equipment because they're still on his contact card. So.
Okay, you did say he did, but that's fine. Because otherwise I would have asked for it back.
Okay.
I'm not. I'm cheap.
Kazar looks at the what he thinks is a black dagger, and it turns out to be just a rusty.
A 15 and a 5 Kassar from the second guy in the alley.
Fucked it. He has.
Okay.
That neither of those.
Ulfar.
Right. As a bonus action, I'm going to cast Spiritual Weapon at 4th level. So a mirror of my maul is going to come to existence. Give me 2 seconds. And I'm going to hit the one that's already been beaten up by Pluck. So this is a roll to hit. That's 11 to hit. I presume it doesn't.
It does not. Is that with your spiritual weapon or your maul?
That's with my spiritual weapon.
Okay, where are you putting?
I'm going to say hovering next to me. Like, there's nothing that says in the description that I can't do that. It's basically anywhere in.
Yeah, it just makes it hard. I'm gonna put it there.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, that's as well as anything. And then I'm going to use my main action to stab him with my javelin.
Okay. Which one are you attacking again?
The one that's already been hurt.
Okay. A 15 will.
So 4 damage to him from that.
Okay.
And that is the end of my turn.
Kassar. So you can now hear combat both in the inn and obviously in the alleyway in front of you.
With the 2 guys who have rushed me and just made a flurry of blows, none of which have connected, I'll tell them they have made a grievous mistake indeed today. And I will pull my other dagger out. If I pull the shield as well, that's another action, isn't it?
That would take your action. So you get like the one weapon is kind of a free thing.
Yep.
A shield.
Yep.
In fact, a shield always needs an action to equip. Because it's like putting on armor, although it takes an action rather than minutes.
Okay, I'll just pull the dagger out for now. And as bonus action, I'll use Slayer's Prey on the guy above me as well, and then I'll attack him.
Yeah, so if you right-click him, you should be able to target him. which you can then use to
Yep.
show you've got. So that'll be in your colour, and that'll show you that you've got your marks on him.
For 17.
Is a hit.
Okay, so now I need to do. It's a Slayer's Prey, and there's no good way to do Hunter's Mark at the moment. So I'll do an extra d6. So another 8. So 16 damage.
Okay, he takes all of that and shows no sign of slowing down.
In which case I'll hit him again. For another 17. And that will do 9 damage.
Okay, he now looks bloody.
And I will again say to him, I say, you picked the wrong inn.
Okay, inside. Turning on Cluck at this point, the badly wounded person will attack with short sword. For a 14 and a 17, Cluck.
Trying to see. What's my armor class with?
At the moment, 12.
So yeah, they'll both hit, and I'll take
So,
3.
9
and
overall.
9, yep.
And now it's your.
I will continue to cleave the same guy I was attacking.
Okay. You smash the table that he's standing on, like between his legs, and cut a huge chunk out of it.
Okay, and I will.
Funny!
Sorry. I will attack again. Yeah, I'll attack again.
Okay. That one you hit.
I will re-roll the damage. So that'd be 12 damage.
Okay. He will tumble to the ground.
Yeah, it will.
And then I will use. Can I use the other side of the sword on the guy that's standing next to him, or has it got to be on the same?
No, you can make it a bonus attack against anybody, I think.
Yeah.
The other side of the sword. Which would be. Just roll the sword and not take the damage. So that'd be a 20. And they'll take 3 from the other side of the sword.
Free
Yep, from the other side of the sword.
against the top guy, yeah, the smiling guy.
Yep, the smiling guy, yeah.
Okay.
And that'll be it.
Oh, in fact, he is going to what did you roll? A 20? Yeah, he's going to do nothing. Okay. Outside, Michael, you will take some more shots on. A 5, so a swing and a miss, followed by a 9, so his turn is over very quickly.
I will laugh at him.
Yeah, inside, again with his sword coming at you, Claude. A 8 and a 25.
Ooh, so the first one won't hit. Second one will. What's that?
That's
9.
9.
God, thank God you're damage resistant.
And he will snarl at you that he's going to be having chicken for dinner.
Doesn't he still look like a woman?
Not with his hat of disguise falling off. No, well, not falling off, but like he can't maintain it in combat.
Yeah.
It's an illusion.
That makes sense.
And yeah, seeing all the damage coming out of Cluck, they're gonna continue to focus on rolling an 8 and a 6.
So I take 2 and 1.
Yep.
Rage really helps.
Yeah.
Gamin manages to jab him twice with his dagger.
Woo. Go Gammon.
And wounded guy outside. 15 and a 6.
That's still a no.
All 5.
Right, I'm going to start attacking the one in front of me. So stabbing with my javelin first. So 8 points of damage, presumably 21 hits.
Mm.
And then I will attack with my spiritual weapon as well. 18 to hit, which will hit. So there. 2d8 plus 19 points of force damage from that as well.
Okay, he goes down.
Yeah, it does. Fuck you, bitch. I turn on the smiling guy as like, you ain't eating jack shit.
Anything else for you?
I will move over the body of his friend. And that's the end of my turn.
Okay. Kassan.
I will continue laughing at the two in front of me and say, "This is quite pathetic, don't you think?" And I'll say, "I'll accept your surrender momentarily to the one on the left, and then I will jab twice at the guy to the north of me."
Okay.
First one's 25. Plus, so 18 damage.
Okay. He goes down.
And then I'll turn to the other one and say that I'll accept his surrender any time. And I'll not attack this one.
Okay. So you're gonna hold.
And
No, you can't hold your action.
No, I'm gonna make a show of not attacking him.
Yeah, you're gloating. You're like, bitch, please, lie down.
Yeah, these are second-rate thieves at best.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got no idea why he
came back to life.
why he got back
Oh
up.
no, I've underestimated these men.
Oh dear.
It's because I'm trying to fix something else.
I just noticed the Allura went from a sickly face to a skull. I'm worried slightly.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's worrying.
So what's the chance to get her to to a priest.
He's dead. Clock.
I will continue now. Focus my assault on that guy. I will also give myself fighting spirit. Give myself advantage and 5 temporary hit points. And what's to do? Is it
Shift.
use
I
is
think
it shift?
Yeah, shift for
shift click and it will give you advantage.
So crit.
Who needs advantage? Look, first roll, mate.
Dealing 16 damage to
Yep.
him.
He now looks
No,
bloodied after that hit.
18 damage. +2 with rage.
Okay.
And I will go with the other side of the. Because the other side of scimitars, is it a second action? Or is it
No, so it's a bonus action for your second side, so you can't use that, but you still have a normal attack left.
Yeah. I will go again with another normal attack. And I will re-roll the damage. For 12.
Okay. Anything else for you?
I will then use a action surge, and I will attack him once more.
Okay.
Dealing him another 12 points of damage.
He goes down.
Whoa.
And I'll just sort of say, who the fuck's having chicken for dinner now?
Also give you a high five.
And I'll proceed to smush his head into the floor.
Okay.
Teabag.
Is that everything for you, Cluck?
That's it.
Okay, Kassar, outside, you see this cloaked figure look at the person you've just killed, look at you, look at his sword, appear if he's about to put it down, and then attempt to bring it up into your head.
Okay.
Missing with both attacks. At this point, what's Gammon going to do? Everybody else in the tavern is dead. Gammon is gonna finish his pint.
Legend.
Ulfa.
Alright, seeing like we've dealt with everyone in here, I'm gonna run to the back door looking what's going on. Can I pass through Kassar's space to get here, or can I not get past him in the door?
I'd say it's possible as long as he doesn't stop you.
Okay. Coming through. Let me just check.
As long as I know it's all far behind me, then I'm fine with it.
Okay, I will come to here, having seen this guy. I will, as a bonus action, I will move my spiritual weapon out with me out of the courtyard and attack this guy in front of Kassar. So, do first. So it's 20 to hit. And I roll 20 damage with that.
Okay, he now looks bloodied as this spiritual maul swings at him.
And then I will try and bash him with the javelin as well, which I crit and do 15 points of damage on him again as well.
Okay, he is killed.
I'd like pincer him from both sides, just like smash.
You need to get answers from these people. Ask
Yeah.
questions.
If I see Ulfar run out and essentially smash this guy to oblivion, I will turn around and say, "You fool!" I was keeping him alive.
I take a look at Alora. What does she look like?
Okay. Alora is face down in a pool of her own blood. She has been stabbed repeatedly.
Can I attempt
Et tu,
to
brute?
cast a spell to cure wounds
You can certainly try.
and check for a pulse?
I will also cast Spare the Dying at the same time.
How it is. So she'll heal for 9 points if she is not completely dead, and I'll use that to like check for a pulse and the rest of it.
Yeah, and Spare the Dying will stabilize her if she's at 0 hit points.
Yeah. So both of your spells have no effect on the lifeless body of Alora.
Use a Revivify right now. Fuck. I mean, I didn't like the lady, but she didn't deserve to go out like this.
No, and now we have no information on the people who killed her either.
So while this is going on, Cluck, what are you doing inside? Now the commotion's died down, the person who was eating their breakfast will slip out the door.
I'll just sort of say to Gamin, what happened?
Gamin will explain that sort of after Alora recovered from the journey, they came down here to have something to eat and to catch up, and these figures burst in and demanded Alora turn over what they called the medallion.
The medallion doesn't
Ga-
mean anything. Doesn't mean anything to me.
Gammon
But
will
there
sort
are
of
stuff about it.
Gammon will sort of like shrug and says, "Yeah, I don't know what that is. We tried telling them that they had the wrong people, and then you arrived, and Gammon will look around and say, and then people died."
Do I overhear this from behind me? Because he's not.
Yeah. You're like through an open door.
Okay, I will pick up Alura's body and essentially go back into the tavern and sort of bring it with me in my arms. And I'll say to Gammon, whatever it was that they were looking for, I believe she slipped it into your pocket at the last moment before sprinting out the back. Check your left pocket for me, Gammon.
Yeah, so Gammon will reach into his pocket and he will pull out an item, and he will hold it out in his hands as a, what's this? And that's what it looks like.
I believe this is what they may have been after.
We don't have a clue what it does, and we probably won't. Do we know?
No.
The only person that would have known is like
This is
dead
why
on the table.
Alura came to find you, Cluck.
Yeah, so on this gold, so first of all, it's solid gold. It's about the size of a small plate. It has a depiction of a winged creature on both sides, and it has what appears to be like cuts or damage on it. There is also an inscription on it in two distinct types of writing, and Cluck, you will recognise one of them as Ara Cochrane.
Okay, well, I'll be able to make out what it says.
Yeah, so through sort of as you sort of take it from Gammon and hold it in your hands, you can read, "This is the Herald's Key. It opens the door to the shunned city of Hearth."
I'll just sort of read out what it says to them. It says, I've never heard of this city of half. I sort of look at Gamin with a puzzled look and said, have you ever heard of this place?
He will shake his head.
Because I was taking you've never heard of this place.
Trying to think if Hearth was in my book of exotic maps, actually. I think one of the maps might have had it.
The only thing I can remember is our little AI robotic friend. Remember him saying something about the island of the Aarakocran, but I don't remember him mentioning the lost city of Half.
You said there was 2 languages on the coin. Is the other one recognizable to me, or
what languages? So it's not common. So what other languages can you read? So Gamin doesn't recognize it, and he can speak Dwarvish.
Celestial, Gnomish, and Sylvan.
Okay, so if you can read Celestial, you will be able to read the second inscription and recognize it as Celestial.
Ooh, what does it say?
It says, "This is the Herald's key. It opens the door of the shunned city of Half."
The other language says the same thing, by the way.
Yep.
Well, the first things first. We need to get Alora here properly buried.
So is there a...
Gamin will point at the others and say, "What about these scum?"
They can rot in the streets until the corpse carts come.
We should as you said, we wanted information. We should probably look them over in case there's some information that might tell us who sent them.
Yeah, can we root through their corpses?
Make a survival check.
Find anything of use or... Ugh.
Okay, so between you, you'll find that each cultist is carrying about 10 gold coins each. So that'll be 50 gold coins in total. Ulfar, as you're searching one of them, you will find that he's got a tattoo on his back. That looks like that. And once you've seen that, if you check the rest of them, you can find the same tattoo on all of them.
Okay. I will point this out to the others. Anybody recognize this?
No. Nothing I've come across.
Gamin, you're a man of the world.
He will shake his head and say, "There's nothing I've ever seen. You know, anchors, nautical things. This looks cultish."
Yes, I agree.
Saying while I've done that, I've equaled out the gold pieces and sort of put them on the table. And I've equaled out a pile, equal share for Gavin as well.
So 10.
It's about 12.5 pieces each if we're going it 4 ways.
So 12 gold and 5 silver equivalent.
Yep. Should Gamin want
Yeah,
gold?
Gamin won't turn, having all the hardship that's happened to him, he will not turn down some gold. But he will say that, given what's happened, he is going to go and speak to the City Watch, and just like essentially he's going to go and give a statement to make sure that whatever news comes out of this area, the wrong story isn't told.
That is a
So,
good idea.
Gammon, that it may be worth having a human accompany you. I know that the Empire is not always kind to other races at the best of times.
At this point, a group of soldiers will walk through the...
Bum, bum. And Ulfar runs for it. No, I'm joking.
So they will look around the tavern, which is covered in blood and entrails and the sign of battle. And they will demand to know what has happened at once.
With Allura in my arms, I'll walk up to them and say, This woman was murdered in cold blood by these thugs. They then tried to take the life of others in the bar, and we defended ourselves. You'll find 2 more out back.
Gamin will step forward and say, "Indeed, they attacked us for no reason." And the barkeeper will actually at this point say that it's true. They burst in, demanded an amulet, and then started attacking anybody who got in the way.
Wow, an entanglement with the constabulary that we're completely in the right and everyone's on our side. This is a new feeling.
Yeah, so having 2 people, at least one of them well known in the city, corroborate your story seems to go a long way with the town watch, and they will sort of say, "I see," and they will. Well, one of them will say, "Stay here," and one of them will go to fetch somebody who can make decisions. But they will say that first of all they will ask where are you staying in case they have any more questions.
Here?
Yep. So that
Right here, of course.
that seems to be no problem. You do notice, Cluck, that one of them seems to take note of your appearance. But given that you're quite rare, you don't know whether that's just curiosity or anything other.
Okay.
And the other one will go off, and you'll see him run in the direction of the barrel.
At this point, Ulfa will cast Sending and send a message to Kretel saying, "We've been attacked at the inn. Allura is dead. Come quick."
I will try, because I believe I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say, if she's dead, can we find a healer? I'm on my way.
I'll lean into Kasar and Clark and say, "Kretel and Duvar should be on their way. I've contacted them." Kretel asks, is there any hope of a healer in town that might revive Allura from death?"
As soon as the sergeant arrives, that's my first action. Is to see if there's any way that we can revive her.
Yeah, so you would all know in big cities like this, it is possible to find people who can cast resurrection. So there's a couple of flavors. You're probably too late through Reviver 5, which is the cheapest spells. You've got I think Resurrection's the next.
Yeah.
Which you've got a Sentry to cast. However, it will require a diamond worth at least 1,000 gold.
Yeah, so they often charge twice, 3, 5 times as much to cast it.
Yeah, it is quite a lucrative business for anybody who's got the cash.
I will lean into Kasar and I'll say, they did have a lot of gold in that cart of theirs. Maybe seeing as this is a failing of the guard, they might be willing to stump up the cash.
She's not even a human, let alone an important one. I doubt
that's
they'll
true.
care that much.
Worth
Take
an
it from me.
So, Kretel and Duvar, so this message has reached you. What do you do?
Well, I tell Duvar what I was told in the message. I quickly turn to the blacksmith and say, "We'll be back as soon as we can. Something's happened at the inn. I need to go."
Okay. And then if you both make your way immediately here, you will arrive before any of the watch.
Blink, blonk.
In this intermission, I will ask Gammon if he doesn't mind handing the equipment back.
Yeah, so Gamin will
I'll give him.
he will give you the dagger and the shield back.
Yep.
And you'll catch a wily smile, and he says, "I was wondering when you'd ask."
And I'll take it. I'll get my shield back.
Funny you say that.
You've got
I
two
was
now,
gonna tr-
haven't you?
I was gonna trade you it for the glaive. Seeing as you're not even gonna use it.
In fairness, he doesn't have it. Duvar hasn't told him it exists yet.
Yeah.
No, I know. I'm saying out of character. That was my plan.
Okay. So, Clark, did you ask for your shield in character?
Yes. I sort of said, my shield.
He doesn't know about
Sure.
the glaive yet, so it's something.
Yeah, I'll hand it back to him. It'll come to pass when we say we have the glaive. That's fine. So I'll say absolutely. Hand him his shield back. So you don't seem to use this too much though.
It is perfect for Cluck that he's been wearing a +1 shield on his back the entire time and not once thought to use it. That is just like the Cluck down to a T.
Yeah.
Ah,
Don't get the
If I'd
benefit.
known he had it, I would have asked to borrow it ages ago.
Don't get the
Yeah, no,
benefit of
me
me
too.
then.
Me too, man.
Everybody wants your shield now. Look,
No.
Everybody wants your shield.
Okay, so Duvar and Cretel arrive. And not too long afterwards, more Town's Watch arrive. And they will set up a cordon, and they will inspect the bodies. Not really noticing the tattoos, Ulfar, from what you can tell, before the bodies are then taken outside and loaded up into a cart.
If I notice that they're not noticing it, I will point them out to the guards as they're looking over the bodies.
Okay. They will take note of it, but say no.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, is it has the lieutenant come back in? The guy. That was
No, it is somebody else from the watch. It appears to be of important status, but you don't know him.
Yeah. Okay.
So after the bodies have been loaded, they will see you holding Alora Kassar, and they will ask, like, is there any customs that you would like them to observe?
She deserves a proper burial. I don't know her customs, but
What about the custom of bringing her back from the dead?
The guard will sort of like look at you, Ulfar, and say that I'm sure you could find a priest capable of such a thing if she's that important to you. If not, you can bury her outside the city walls. The Raven Shadow is reserved for the folk of the city. I think you're saying something, Duvar, but I can't hear you. Still really quiet.
anything.
Okay. I'm gonna say like sounds like you're really far away.
Away with the fairies.
Okay. Anything?
No, that is where I intend to go then to bury Allura.
Pockets.
I was gonna say, she had many marvels, did Allura. Just on the off chance she's got some sort of bring me back to life button, I would give her a once over, because
Not here. Do not disrespect the dead.
of
We'll
course.
prepare her for her burial, and if she is carrying anything, then we will find it during that.
Yeah. So, having loaded up the bodies and seeing that you intend to deal with that one yourself, the guards will leave.
Yeah, considering everything she's done for us so far, it would be wrong not to at least go visit a priest first.
Try and
Also, she had information for Cluck. How important is that?
she made it seem very important. And to the priest first. We are agreed.
Okay,
To the priest.
let's take her body to the priest.
Priest Cornelius. It's a priest named Cornelius.
So at least half of us know where the temple is.
I can't seem to drag the map for some reason.
Yep. So, you head across town to the temple. I'm assuming you're all here, even those incapable of using their tokens.
Oh, yeah, give me a chance.
No.
One there.
Okay. So, if you head into to the temple, you will find sort of the chief priest of Arathis is or claims to be able to cast this spell, and he will offer to do it for 2,500 gold in a donation to the church.
I doubt we've even got that between us.
I'm pretty sure we do.
We probably do have it between.
Yeah, so I've got 1,500 gold total. In
Okay.
account.
I've got 1,000.
Okay, you guys are a lot richer than I am.
That'd be everything I would have.
He says,
Same.
I understand that this can be quite a burden. If it helps to let go of this soul, he will give you the chance to say goodbye.
What does that mean?
He's saying,
I'm gonna-
basically,
I know.
you're
Right.
too cheap. I'll let you leave.
I'll ask if they have a room where we can perhaps dress her a little better and cover her wounds for burial.
So the temple here is completely open, so it is it's like a pantheon, only the center has been dedicated to Arathis, and there's little shrines dotted around the outside, but it is like open to the elements. There are no rooms.
Okay.
How important is it to your Cluck?
Nice to know what this would do, but at the cost of 3,000 gold.
2,500. Quite effective.
2,500.
Bargain at twice the price. You all know how much you miss Alora already. And nothing makes me cackle with like evilness, knowing that you might want to spend all of your money to revive this person you hate.
Just don't like losing though.
Out of character, everyone. How much gold does everyone have? Like, I won't let it affect how Wolfer behaves. Just so, Cluck, you said you had 1,500. Was that?
Yeah, thereabouts.
And
120.
About 1,000. Was that?
Yeah, just over 1,020 gold.
And Kassar?
I've got about 1,400
Okay.
all in all.
1,000, 4,000. And Duvar?
I think about 610. Yeah, 610.
So if everyone gave almost exactly half of everything they got, that would be 2,500. Just doing quick math.
Well, it's 500 each, right? Unless anyone can't afford 500.
Yeah, but the difference is like that's like I don't even have 500 gold.
Come into my debt collection office.
I'm not saying it's what we should do. I was just throwing it up there as that's what.
You still owe us gold.
No, I don't.
I will say I was just intending to bury her, but you know, if the party's intent on resurrection,
You could do so without Kassar's money.
Well, I will actually turn and say in character, I have no problem giving some money towards it, but I can't cover the whole cut.
I have very little that I could give towards it. I have very little money.
you just didn't like her.
I grant you, I didn't like her. It doesn't mean she should die.
So even I wasn't very fond of her, but I'm prepared to put in some money to find out what this is, and I'll sort of dig out pull out the amulet, the golden amulet.
The priest will ask you if you're willing to donate that.
I'll say keep your mitts off. And I'll will he be able to read it?
He can probably read the celestial portion of it, yes.
So can I.
Yeah, so this is probably the first time you've seen it, Kratel. And yeah, it's like a solid gold plate with celestial writing around the edge, and then the opposite edge has writing you don't or can't understand.
What's your gem
Can I-
worth?
Can I
Our gems are worth about 10 gold pieces apart.
can I ask the priest while I'm here, like, how much would it cost to restore some toes?
He will get back to you on that while I think about the spell.
How about a hand? Oh, you're happy with your whatchamacallit hand?
He doesn't mind being a cyborg.
The hand could come in useful later, as much as I don't want to, but the actual getting my toes back would just be nice to get the extra 5 feet of movement.
Yeah.
Did we find anything on the lure? Did she have a notebook?
We haven't even looked through her because we haven't decided whether we're going to bury her or whether we're going to bring her back to life.
It's like she had a notebook or anything that might have any information on this amulet in there.
Let us find somewhere private to look over her things. As I said, we never know if there might be.
If we're gonna raise her from the dead, we don't want to be looking for her things.
Yeah, so with your help, Kassar, yes, the priest can cast Regenerate on you for 250 gold in donation towards the church.
Say, Joe, what? It would be nice to be able to walk without a limp.
Seriously, Kasar, you're doing this right now.
Well, while you're talking amongst yourselves,
He will
seems
ask
prudent.
you if you have the missing toes.
I do not have the missing toes.
He will
No.
say he's unable to reattach what you do not have.
But regenerate should restore them.
Says yes by holding them to
like
the missing
you-
parts.
After
That's not how I read it,
because I said
okay.
that, I'll say to the priest, do you have you able to restore memories?
He will say yes, I can restore memories. What is it that you've forgotten?
Everything.
What is it you've forgotten? Oh, yeah, I'll tell you what I've forgotten.
He will sort of look puzzled by this and say everything.
Yeah, my entire past. I have no idea where I'm from. Where my home village is. Nothing of my past career. My only thing I know is of being an adventurer with this group.
Duval, question this, and how long ago did you lose your memory?
Well, first I remember waking up was when me and Kazar back in the good old days. Seems like an eternity now.
A week ago then.
How long has it been since the start of campaign in terms of real time, like world time?
You're in the second month.
Okay,
So you
got a
started
couple.
on the 23rd of the 2nd, and it's now like the 23rd of the 3rd?
It's his first bloom on here.
Yeah, that's the 3rd month.
Oh.
So it's been exactly 1 month, 40 days.
I will turn to the others. I think it is worth looking over her things. She may have, so there may be some information we can glean of her wishes, what she would wish to happen to her should she be dead. Maybe she carries a will.
So, Cluck, to your question, he will say that he's unsure whether his magic will aid the recovery of your memories, but he's willing to have a go for a donation of 1,000 gold to the church. But he will be upfront and say he has no indication of what, if anything, it will be recovered.
A money back guarantee.
He says you can't
No
have
win,
a
no fee.
donation back. The donation is separate to the act of healing. The donation goes towards the restoration of our great temple.
Okay, well,
Pretty much
right, well,
restored to me.
I'll
He will narrow his brow at you, Duvar, and says, "If I would want your opinion, I would look in the sewer."
Oh! That is no way for a man of God to speak.
But you wouldn't find me there.
let's take the others. Well, shall we try and find a quiet spot and see what we can find on Lure, and then decide on whether we just give her a burial or we stoop up the cost.
Maybe take her back to the room in the inn. See if she has left some sort of will, and if not, make the decision to prepare her for burial.
Let's say at least then if we take her back to the room, we can wrap her up in a cloth.
Don't leave her alone with Cluck.
Just like the idea of you walking across town with this body in your arm.
Yeah.
Slung over the shoulders, mate. Come on.
No, we
Properly.
did forget 2 revival spells. The resurrection one itself is like the 4th spell in the list. There's 2 more before that, and then you've got Revivify as the lowest.
So raise dead, and what's your?
Something a druid can cast.
Oh well, you're not gonna find that here.
Reincarnate.
Yeah, reincarnate. But raised dead should hopefully only cost us like 1,500 instead of 2,500.
Nope, the priest has told you it'll take 2,500.
Yeah. So are we agreed? We're going back to the room, carting the body back across, and to make a decision in private, basically, based on
Yes.
the body.
You need a level 5 necromancer. Anyone know a level 5 necromancer?
I think we want her back, not dead, like not undead.
Up to you, Cluck. I'll leave it to you.
No, so let's take it back so you can find, and then we'll decide as a group if we want to go in and resurrect her.
So we brought her from the inn to the temple, and now everyone wants to go back to the inn.
And now
With
we'll
body.
find somewhere else.
I'm still gonna say that I reckon we should just cough up the money and revive her, because she has done us a good service before, and point at your hand.
I will lift up my boot and wiggle my toes.
You're non-existent,
You
sorry.
can't wiggle your toes.
Yeah.
Wiggle my stumps.
Got in a fight with a freaking griffin.
Okay. I would say if we decide to go ahead, how do people want to do this in terms of money? Like, as I said, literally, if everyone gave half of the money that they had, it would do it. Or
I'll drop in 600 gold.
okay, in the same vein, then I will drop in 250 gold.
I'll drop in
800.
500.
1200.
1350.
And how much is left exactly?
Or 1,150 is left to.
I'll put in 500.
So that leaves 650 left to stump up.
I'm overwhelmingly thrilled about this.
That is literally more than your bounty for getting cracks.
Yep. This is all the money that I've earned in the last, like, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Which I haven't been able to spend on anything. Can't even buy my
No.
clothes back.
I know the feeling. Duval's a bit, put out as well. He's kind of like, oh my god. But he recognises, I think, that it's important.
So, Gazar, it's down to you.
At most, I'm going to be putting in 500.
Okay, so that's 150 left to make up. So if we split that between 5, that's 30 more gold each. Are people willing to do that?
Yeah.
Okay, before you remove the gold, I will quickly run through. So, you hand over the gold to the priest, who starts to cast the spell, and the spell will not take hold. And he will look puzzled by it, and then he will ask you if to tell him more about how she died, because the only thing that would stop this is if her soul was not free.
All I know is I found her out back with multiple stab wounds, surrounded by 2 men.
Did these men look occultish?
Tell him about
Potentially.
the hand.
There was a tattoo on their back, shaped like a hand with an eye in the middle.
2 thumbs.
He says, I'm afraid your friend's soul is probably ensnared in some way. Until that is free, you will be unable to give her aid. And he will hand you your money back.
Wow.
So happy.
Let's. How do we free a soul? That's a mission then.
He will say that unless you can find the means of which they captured it, I couldn't even
Well, it
suspect.
Must be on the dead bodies, but we didn't find anything.
You did not. And those dead bodies are now in the keeping of the guards.
Is it worth going to talk to the guards?
So, Ulfa, you're the one who checked the bodies and found the tattoo. You didn't find any other items apart from the gold, and the gold itself didn't seem to be of any importance. Obviously, it's gold; it's important, but it's just like it's gold.
Yeah, and they were all carrying sort of just rudimentary weapons, as far as I could see from that experience. Like nothing sinister.
If only you'd left that other one alive.
Sorry.
At this point, the sort of the head priest will wish you a good day and go and speak to like a queue of people who seem to be waiting in the temple for aid. In fact, he will gently usher you to the door with this dead body.
This is deep, dark magic that has been used upon her. I do not know how to fix it. It may be that we would. We have no way to keep a body for the time it may take or not take to free her soul.
I can.
Go on. How so?
Essentially, as long as I meditate next time we decide to rest, I can use ceremony.
Okay, ceremony.
And what will this ceremony do?
Stops a body becoming desecrated.
Or will that stop the rot?
That is more my worry.
Essentially, yes. But it's not permanent.
How long does it last?
I believe it's a week per casting.
There is no guarantee that we
No,
can.
but it's worth a try, isn't it? I mean, there's no reason why.
What I'm thinking is we should maybe bury her with all funeral rites, and then work to save her soul and let it move into the afterlife rather than back into her body. I
You should be happy with that.
Then that is what we should do. Give her full funeral rites, blessed and buried, and we will make our best effort to save her soul.
You have to think whether she would even want to come back to life. The trauma of what she's endured would be heavy on any soul.
Agreed. Also, whatever her soul is enduring now might be unimaginable. Agreed. We should bury her, make best to protect her in the sacraments that we place over her grave, and then seek to save her soul in the coming weeks. Then we should return to the inn and prepare her for burial. Agreed?
I agree. I think she should be buried and laid to rest rather than carted around as some sort of trophy for the next however many weeks.
Yes. Agreed. Okay.
Okay, so you tropes back across town and arrive at the inn. The
Yeah.
innkeeper does not seem too happy about having another dead body in the place, but if you was to offer her some silver, she would her prostrations would disappear.
Ulfar will drop 10 pieces of silver on the bar.
Yep. So
sorry, go on.
that keeps her quiet.
And Ulfar will give her like a look of disgust.
She says, I'm trying to run a business and I do not need a reputation.
You also would have been in a room full of other dead bodies if it wasn't for us and for her. And then I'm just going to walk upstairs and ignore her before she can respond.
I'll take the body upstairs and lay it out on one of the beds. And just sort of take anything out of pockets and redress her clothes and stuff to try and hide the cuts as best I can.
Yeah, I will use my skill at medicine to stitch her up and make her look as though she's not suffered the grievous wounds she's suffered.
Yep, okay. So, upstairs in the inn, you will tend to her the best that you can. Are you going to do anything else?
We're going to go through her things and see if there's anything.
Okay, so the only
much.
thing apart from her clothes that she's wearing is surprisingly she has no money, but she was captured by bandits, so it's not perhaps too surprising. She has her backpack, which you've seen will open up into a tent, and she has a journal.
I'll take the backpack off and I'll hand the journal to Ulfar and say that the journal may contain something.
I'll start to look through it. Is it in a language I can read? Is it in a code or anything else?
What languages can you speak?
Celestial, Common, Gnomish, and Sylvan.
No, it's not in a language you can understand.
Okay. Is it in an alphabet I recognise?
I will jump forward and say that if you show it to everyone in your group, Kasar will recognise it as Dwarvish, but it's not in a very legible script, so it's not coded in any way, but it's not... Sorry, go on.
I speak Dwarvish.
Okay, so Kasar and Duval will tell you it's Dwarvish, but it's not... It's as if it's been written by a child.
Okay. Yeah. That does not surprise me. Well, once we have properly buried her, maybe you two could spend some time poring over it to get any information that might be useful. I'll put it away for now.
Yeah, so if you want, you can make a quick investigation check to see if there's anything that stands out.
So Duvar and Kasar.
Is that me and Duvar, yeah?
Yeah. Okay, so the only thing that appears to stand out of it is it's something that Laura mentioned in the camp to you, and he's repeated in her notes about how the medallion came into her possession, and it was something she was holding for a friend, and she just refers to this person as a friend in the journal. But what you can gather in there is that this friend may have been somebody who lived in the city. She does mention meeting him, and it is a him in Askby on a couple of occasions that you find reference to.
Okay. I presume also in there we probably see some of the rubbings and drawings she did when she was with us.
Yes. There's also a rubbing of this medallion as well. And and interestingly, a few drawings of clock, like sort of like Da Vinci type drawings.
He had an admirer.
These look more like they're not like doodles of somebody who had an infatuation. These look like atomical drawings of somebody, like
Vesuvius Man or something.
yeah. So like referenced against a normal like human. So his height, his wingspan, stuff like that.
Flexing.
Okay. Yeah. We ready her for burial. I think, is there anything else that we have that would make? Yeah, I can't think of anything else to do. So then we make our way out of the city to bury her, presumably.
Yeah.
So if you ask around, you'll be directed to a graveyard some distance away from the city walls, where it appears that those of sort of lower birth or like non-humans are buried. It's not it's not like a dilapidated graveyard or anything like that. It's just there's limited space within the city, so these are like where most people get buried.
Yeah, cholera.
Yeah, so when you arrive and you explain to the gravekeeper what you're here for, you're asked for a piece like a piece of gold for the grave, and then he will get to work digging that grave, and it will take several hours. And if you help him, that will speed things up.
Orfa will give him the gold piece and will help.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I'll help dig the grave.
So about halfway through the afternoon, the grave is sort of dug, and he will sort of like leave you the shovel and head back to his hut, and he will ask you to let him know when you've done, and he will cover it over for you. And he will finally let you know that if you want like a headstone or an inscription, something like that, let him know, and he can put you in contact with a stone worker, a mason.
How much would a headstone cost us? If we ask him, is he?
It's essentially like there's a scale, so like the more ornate and the more fancy material, the more it will cost. So anything from sort of a couple of gold for a plain headstone that just marks the location, to like you could spend tens of gold on something more ornate and inscribed.
I mean, we're willing to spend $2.5 grand on resurrection. We could spend it on a headstone.
What good does it do her? Like,
I will pay the money for a simple headstone.
Okay.
And I'll ask if I can get a basic inscription.
Okay, so that'll cost you 5 gold, and it will take probably a week to prepare.
Fine.
Okay, I'll pay the 5 gold. And I will ask the gravestone just say Allura, and underneath it will say Intrepid Explorer.
Okay.
And in speech marks, fascinating.
Yeah. Ulfar will place the Tinker robot head that he's been carrying in the grave with her, like holding it like a funerary, like grave goods.
Okay. Have you taken Gammon with you?
Yeah, I think we probably would have. Yeah,
It depends if he decided to come with us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we would have told him what we were going to do. Should he?
Yeah,
want to,
he would have come with you then.
Okay. Yeah, we did say it in front of him what we were going to do, so it's kind of up to him.
Ulfar will pray over the grave using all the sort of sacraments and sort of good words that meant to help a soul move on. And he will use. Sorry, just quickly.
Sorry, go ahead.
Use thaumaturgy to change the appearance of his eyes to hide the fact that he's crying. You were going to say?
I was going to say that I will actually also say a sort of a quick prayer, not in any fervent hope of anything happening, but since feeling something previously when talking about Cord, I will say a small prayer.
You feel a glow in your chest.
Feel nothing unless David tells me I do.
Wait, can I do something to make you feel like it? No, nothing. I think, I don't know about you guys, but I'd probably just help to bury the grave without troubling the gravedigger in the first place, to protect, to stop grave robbing, etc. So yeah, we cover her up.
Okay.
I just wanted to see.
Oh, now I'm really tempted to roll religion for my prayer just to see if I am fucking more religious than you in the end.
Go on.
God. And you haven't even got a bonus on that. That's just flat.
No, that's just flat. That's flat.
Fantastic. See,
Yeah.
you do feel a warmth inside you. You feel Cord's love.
So after another 2 hours or so, the grave is covered over, and Gammon will say that it's been a long day and he would like another drink in her honour.
Agreed, Duval will say.
That was so quick and so Dubar. You haven't even finished the word drink, and Dubar's like, yes, drink, absolutely.
So travelling back to the city over the course of the next hour and ending back up in the tavern. And Gammon will get you around it, and he will say to Alora, she was odd, but she was our friend.
She was
So Laura's health.
Okay, and it's probably at that point that it's as good as time as any to stop. So, first of all, if you're watching any of this, thank you. It's a bit crazy, but hopefully you enjoyed it. We are now using Foundry Virtual Tabletop, which is an amazing system compared to Roll20, so you should definitely check that out if you haven't already. And we will be back on next Monday at the same time. Anything from any of you guys?
Nope. Nothing.
Perfect.
Killed off my favourite character.
Shia.
Okay, we'll see you next week, guys. Cheers.
See you later.
Goodbye.
Bye.